Make merry and be glad, for this your brother was dead, and now he's alive. He was lost, and now is found. Amen. And I know that sounds like a lot of the reading of the word, but I want to share the heart of the story. I want to share the heart of the story. Here you see somebody who wanted it all. The younger son wanted his inheritance, and he wanted it now. And like some of us, we want stuff that we ain't ready for. And so the father said, here, take a portion of your inheritance. And this son represents the people who intentionally and willfully reject God and go away from the Lord because of their sin. He represents depravity and a man who lived to please his own fleshly desires. So sometimes we as people want stuff that we're not even ready for. And when we get it, we mess it up. So the father said, here's your inheritance. He took it. He left Jamaica and went up to New York, and he wasted it. When he wasted it, he went down and he was hanging out in Manhattan, down with the homies, and he asked them for a little bit of food, and they said, you can't get none of this. Well, there's some scraps. At some point in your life, in my life, we have to come to the realization that we have to come to ourselves. I came 1,000+ miles to Jamaica to tell somebody out there, Daddy wants you to come home. You've been out there living for yourself, trying to make it on your own, trying to hustle. You're trying to do this and trying to do that, but it ain't working. Won't you try to come back home to your father? Because whether you know it or not, he's not mad at you. Some of you right now probably knew God, and some of you said, the heck with God because things happening in life, or I can't come to God because of the way I'm living. He says, son, I'm not mad at you. Daughter, I'm not mad at you. All I want you to do is call on me. So sooner or later, the brother got in his heart. The son got in his heart. And he started planning. He said, this is what I'm going to say to my dad. Father, I have sinned against heaven. See, he already knew, first of all, where his true blessings came from. You might be out there right now. You might have a good job, or you might have no job. You might think you got it going on, but you still got problems. You might have a little bit of money, but your health is failing. Your health might be failing, but you might want some money. You might have good health. You might have good kids. But guess what? Something in you is lacking. I don't care what you do out there. If you try to do it for yourself, you will be empty. Sooner or later, you're going to have to come to yourself. See, I can tell you like this. In the U.S., Hollywood puts a picture up, and they got all these fancy Hollywood stars that makes millions and billions of dollars. But those are the same fools that are laid up in rehab. They need a teen challenge. Those are the same people that got everything that you hustling for, and they are still empty. If you look at my story, you can tell that I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And ever since the beginning of time, God has created us with a hole, with a vacuum, and says nobody's ever going to fill that but me. So your husband can't fill it, your wife can't fill it, your girlfriend on the side can't fill it, your kids can't fill it, that money you're searching for ain't going to fill it. The only thing that's going to fill it is Jesus. Amen. And if you think I'm lying, all I ask you to do is try him. You tried everything else, why not try Jesus? At some point, you, like I, need to come to myself. After he spent all his money, he came to poverty. No one would help him. He came to his senses. He realized that he should have never left home. And some of you are like him. trying to figure a way out, trying to figure out how you gonna make it. You trying to figure out something that you have not even have authorization to create. What am I saying? I'm saying this. There are vehicles out here right now that there are masters over those vehicles. If you or I go and try to fix a vehicle that I have no knowledge of fixing, I'm gonna mess it up. I don't care if I'm a side yard mechanic. I really need to take it to the owner. If I take that vehicle back to the place it was created, I can get the right parts. Some of you are like that vehicle. You are trying to get stuff from somewhere else when you need to go back to the creator, the one who created you, to get the answer. But what happens with people is that if you don't fix it today, then, the later what you got, y'all want to put this God in a box. He's not a microwave God. He's not a magician that says, let me shake my head 3 times and you pop, there you go. He's a God of process. He's a God that he says, you know what? I don't want you to be like that son. He says, look, I'm not going to give you what you're asking for because you're not ready. And because if you say I gave it to you and then you swindle it, guess what you do to my name? God is a jealous God. Just like any other parent. I have 4 kids. I'm not going to give my 5-year-old keys to a car. I don't care how much I love him, and I can't. He is not ready for those things. There are things that my kids ask me for today. I tell them you can't have it. They don't understand. They ain't supposed to understand. I want to give it to them, but I have to give it to them in time. Your time will come, but you have to wait out the process. So some of the people out there, just like some of you, some of the kids up here today, were lost. But there's a way home. All you got to do is come to yourself. So the father saw his son coming from a great distance, and he ran out and he met him. He had compassion and he greeted him with love and affection. The father restored the son to his full rights. I'm not talking about partial. See, the problem with people is when we look at ourselves, we see all our imperfections. We see all our downcomings. We even see, we want to get right, but we say, until I get this right, that's when I come to the Father. Trust me, you ain't going to never get it right on your own. You got to come to the Father while you got a chance. No one knows that tonight is going to be the last night of your life. There are 2 destinations, eternal destinations. Eternity. 2. 1, up in heaven with Jesus Christ the Father. The other, in hell. Burning. Eternal hot. You think it's hot here? My man Adam said he ain't used to Jamaica and all this heat. Let Adam go out there and start acting a fool and live for himself. He could be burning for real. I don't know about you. I'm not going to take a chance on burning in hell for real. I don't like hot. Ask my wife. I like air conditioning. I don't know if y'all got air conditioning too much around, but I love air conditioning. I like to be cool. But I believe that God has a place, he has a home for all of us. That is set up. When I say when he restores you back full. He restores the love back full. You don't get full because you ain't ready for full. Everybody got a process to go through. Everybody has a process to go through. The father also started to celebrate when his son came home. And they had a party for him. The father got the best goat, cut that joker up. They had some curry goat. They had some jerk chicken. They had it all for this son. And guess what happened? That old self-righteous boy that's been home all this time, and some of you got him at home, been doing all the things you asked him to do. Soon as somebody comes back home and says, yeah, Johnny's back here, he talking about, why you gonna let him back in there? I've been doing all right. See, he didn't understand